Writing a blog post can feel like a major accomplishment. You've spent hours researching, drafting, refining, and finally you hit that publish button. But as satisfying as that moment is, it's only the beginning. Once your content is live, the next step is promoting it. And as creators, we often enjoy the process of writing or recording, but promotion is actually just as important. In fact, it's often said you should spend at least as much time promoting your content as you spent creating it, which, if you're like me, you're like, what? That's a ton of time. Who does that? And the truth is, if you want to get the biggest squeeze out of all that time and effort you put into your content, it is worth it to spend the extra time intentionally promoting it. So, to make this process easier, I've developed a checklist of tasks that you can complete after every blog post. This ensures that you're not dropping the ball on the promotion side. And as your time becomes more limited, this also gives you a framework of tasks that you can start delegating to others so that it's not all on your shoulders. But the ultimate goal is to give each post the best chance to be seen, shared, and ranked on search engines. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through 10 things you should do after every blog post to achieve the best reach. And these are all tasks that I am actively working on integrating into my publishing process as well. So I will be sure to update you on all the results I see from each tactic. So action step number 1, share your content on social media. So this is probably one of the most obvious things that you would think to do after publishing a blog post, right? Obviously, you're going to share it wherever you're present on social media. But this can become a big task with all the social media platforms out there. So let's break down the key steps of how you should go about this. First up, we're going for the low-hanging fruit, sharing links on your own platforms. So this is basically the easiest way to get your content some extra visibility without having to create a bunch of additional assets. So where are the places where you can drop your links and hope that people see them? Number 1, if you have a Facebook business page, you can share it there. And you can experiment with different ways of sharing your link. Of course, you can just, post the link directly on your page, but you can also create little text posts or images or videos and put the link underneath in the comments. Or you can even experiment with additional tools like which allow you to automatically DM the link to your content to your interested viewers if they comment or message you with a specific trigger word. So definitely play around and see what's most effective for your audience. Additionally, if you run a Facebook group, you can always share your latest blog posts in your group's main feed. You can even mark it as an announcement post and pin it to the top of the group for better visibility. And finally, if you have a Facebook personal page and your ideal audience is in your personal network, of course, you can always share your content to your personal Facebook profile as well. If you're present on X, Threads, or LinkedIn, those platforms are also friendly for links. Or another platform that's been trendy recently is called Flipboard, which is a platform that allows you to sort of curate links to your favorite content on the web, and you can organize it into different topic clusters, which they call magazines. And other people can subscribe to your magazines and see what content you're reading and recommending to your audience. So you can always throw your own posts inside your Flipboard magazines and hope to get some greater visibility there as well. And while sharing links on social media is incredibly quick and easy, most of these platforms are trying to prevent their users from clicking away to external websites. So the fact of the matter is, reach for posts with links can be lower than posts without links. But remember, bigger picture here. Any additional visibility is better than zero additional visibility. So if all that you can handle on your plate right now is sharing links to your content online, you should still do that because you never know what might get picked up and take off. The second level to sharing your content on social media is starting to create graphics and visual assets to share on these platforms. So the fact is, you will need to go beyond simple link sharing if you want to grow a truly engaged audience on a social media platform. And you also need to be cognizant of the fact that with so many platforms to choose from, it's really easy to accidentally spread yourself too thin and not make progress on any particular platform. And that can lead you very quickly down the road of burnout. So if I were starting again today, I would pick one platform to master at a time and slowly layer on additional platforms once you get your systems down, and perhaps even bring on some help so that you can start focusing your personal attention on growing the next one. So if I were starting again today, I would tackle Pinterest first. Outside of just publishing on my blog, I believe as a blogger, The next easiest place to grow is Pinterest. And I like Pinterest because it functions as a visual search engine and also has that same SEO capability that a lot of us bloggers are already familiar with. So if you're confused about where to put your attention first, highly recommend at least learning the basics of Pinterest and getting that down before moving on to some of the more traditional platforms that you might think of, like Instagram or TikTok. But the truth is, on all of these platforms, even Pinterest, you need visual assets to capture people's attention. So you will need to learn how to create nice looking graphics to help attract your audience. And tools like Canva can make this really easy to accomplish. They even help you out with templates perfectly sized and customized for each platform. And if you upgrade to the paid version of Canva, it also allows you to quickly resize your images into the various sizes for different platforms with just one click of a button. If you're not yet on Canva Pro, highly recommend it. Definitely worth the cost as an online business owner. So here are some of the platforms that you can start thinking about creating visual assets for. And in this particular case, I'm just talking about static images. We're not yet dabbling into the world of video. In my head, I sort of see it as lowest hanging fruit, sharing a link. Second lowest hanging fruit, creating a static image that doesn't require your face, your likeness, that doesn't necessarily require you to be live and engaged at any given moment. You can create the graphics in your spare time, post them when you have the time, outsource it, whatever works for you, but it's less labor intensive than, say, video. So here are the platforms that you can create static visual assets for. First up, as I mentioned, Pinterest. And on Pinterest, longer vertical images tend to perform the best. So you can find pin templates directly on Canva, or just start browsing Pinterest directly and just kind of pay attention to what pin styles capture your eye, and then try to create something similar for your own brand in Canva. Of course, you can create visual assets for Facebook. And if your goal is to drive traffic to your website from Facebook, then what you're ultimately trying to do is get clicks back to your post. So a lot of times the content that you will create to get those clicks will need to be very visually eye-catching and almost verging on clickbaity to get people interested in what the content of your actual post is. So if you're a food blogger, you probably want to focus on those really enticing recipe hero shots. No matter what type of content you create, think about bright colors, high contrast images, images that evoke amazement, surprise, or curiosity. Nostalgic or emotional content does really well on Facebook, or newsworthy or very timely content. So obviously how you apply these different types of content to your unique business and niche is up to you, but those are, generally speaking, the types of content and the type of hooks that really draw people in on Facebook. Instagram, you can also share visuals related to the blog post that you just finished. Things like a carousel of images summarizing the main points, an impactful quote that you pulled out from your post, perhaps infographics that visually depict key points in an eye-catching way, or even just text-only images, like people just typing a note on their phone and like screenshotting it. That type of stuff can even do well if it's really high value. Beyond the usual Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, obviously TikTok is a place to be these days, and you can share static images and photo carousels on TikTok. Even though people think of it as a very video forward platform, they do allow static posts. So if you're already creating assets, for example, like this for other platforms, it could be worth experimenting also posting them on TikTok. X and Threads also like static images, especially if they contain high value, high expertise, or trending and newsworthy content. These short form text-based platforms move quickly, and they're often talking about, whatever's trending in the news that day or whatever's happening in the now. So if you can create that kind of content for Twitter or Threads related to whatever you just posted your blog post about, you might have better success there. And then LinkedIn as well. If you can create images that help establish you as an industry expert or a thought leader, go for it on LinkedIn, especially if you are marketing to the B2B entrepreneur, business owner type of space. And I have a few final tips here to help make this process a little easier. First up, I do recommend using a scheduling tool. Yes, most social platforms do have the ability to schedule posts in advance, just already built in. But using an external tool can allow you to manage everything in one location, and some even let you auto repost your favorite content at regular intervals. There are a zillion and one social media scheduling tools, so I will let you figure out which ones you like the best. But some of the popular ones that I've seen roaming around that you may want to check out include SmarterQueue, Later, Hootsuite, and Metricool. But those are far from the only options. So whatever one appeals to you and whatever needs you have, just give one a try and see if it helps you stay organized. And if you don't have the budget for a paid external scheduling tool, I have also seen other people have a lot of success keeping a content calendar just organized in something like Notion, Airtable, Google Spreadsheets, one of those options. And they just keep everything organized there and schedule using the native scheduling tools for each platform. That works as well. And then, of course, you want to personally spread the word about your own content as much as possible, but you also want to make it easy for other people to spread the word about your content. And for that, I highly recommend installing a social sharing plugin on your website. My personal favorite at the moment is one called Hubbub. And to get the social sharing features, you don't even have to pay anything. That part of the plugin is completely free. So if you install it, you can then add quick and easy social sharing buttons to your website. You can customize where they appear on the page. And then people can click one button, easily share to Facebook. Click one button, easily pin it. Click one button, easily email it to someone. You get to choose the platforms you highlight, but definitely recommend setting that up if you don't have that functionality already on your site. And some themes already have that built in as well. So just double check with how your website's set up and whether or not you need the plugin. But if you're looking for one, I like Hubbub. Step number 2, email your list. One of the highest impact things you can do after publishing a blog post is to email your list. But I do recommend being a little strategic about it. Don't just copy paste your entire post into the body of your email, for example, or rely on an outdated RSS feed to do automated sending for you. We really want to put ourselves in the shoes of our audience and think about our ultimate business goals and come up with a winning strategy that's great for our audience and great for our goals as well. So I know a lot of people watching this, if you're blogging, probably one of your major goals is to get traffic back to your website. This especially applies for those of you who are trying to maximize things like ad revenue, which rely on getting a lot of eyeballs on your content. So you have to reverse engineer what you're trying to achieve. If you want people to click on your links in the email and go check out your full post, then you have to give them like an enticing reason to do so. And one of the most effective ways that I've found is using short, enticing teaser emails that encourage readers to click through to your site. For example, a few years ago, back when Google first announced all of their plans with integrating AI into Google search, I had a lot of thoughts on how that may change the industry. And so I sent out an email with the subject line, "Things are changing in the blogging space, ... That was a super effective curiosity invoking email. That had a 60% open rate. Of the people who opened the email, I received 316 clicks back to my website that day from the 6,800 or so people who were sent the email. So that ended up being just under a 5% click rate for that email. And you can see how that can quickly scale. 300 something clicks in one day to one post. If you're really into email and you're sending people emails 2, 3, 4, 5 days a week, that can add up to thousands of additional page views to your website every single month, depending on your list size, obviously. So my list size is kind of moderate. It's hovering around 7,000 people at the moment. But can you imagine if I was able to grow my email list to like 100,000 subscribers and I was getting a 5% click rate on whatever I was sending? That's 5,000 people coming to your site every single time you send an email. And if you have, let's say, a $20 RPM, meaning for every 1,000 people, you earn about $20. Boom, you've made $100 that day just by making great content and sending it to your list. So just wanted to highlight how that can scale and why email is so critical for nurturing your audience, building your connection, serving and genuinely helping your people, and also safeguarding you from algorithm changes. Because when you send an email, it's at least hitting your people's inbox. Even if they don't choose to open it, they're going to get it. So it's hugely impactful. We're going for simple, direct, intriguing, getting people to click. You don't need to write a long email, just enough to spark curiosity. But if this does not speak to you, there are totally other options as well. For example, maybe you send a weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly newsletter. Sure, you can totally add links to your newest blog post in your regular newsletter. You may not get as many clicks if the sole focus of your email is not driving people to click the link, but again, it's better than nothing. And one of my favorite ways to maximize this tactic is to create something called an evergreen email sequence, something that will automatically send your best content on autopilot to all of your new subscribers on your list. So generally speaking, what you'd want to do is create some sort of welcome sequence to onboard new subscribers, get them familiar with you and your space and your brand. And then after that welcome series is completed, drop them into an evergreen email sequence that shares your most valuable blog posts over time. This way, new subscribers will get exposed to your top content even though it's not brand new. And again, going back to that idea of like building slowly on top of each other, regularly emailing not just your newest post, but all of your best posts to the people on your email list can add up to significant traffic. And if you'd like a step-by-step tutorial on how to set up an evergreen newsletter inside ConvertKit, I walk you through every single step inside my Search Savvy membership. So I'll put a link to that below if you want to check it out. But the truth is, building a robust email list over time can give you access to thousands of people who are eager to hear from you and engage with your content. And consistently sending out valuable content to your list can be a major traffic driver to your blog and therefore a major revenue generator in your business. Action step number 3, add internal links. So after you publish that new blog post, it's important to go back through your older posts and add links to that new content wherever it's relevant. This process is called internal linking and is really great for both SEO and the user experience on your site. So here's how you add internal links. First up, you're going to review the older content on your site. Scroll through all the content you've previously published and identify posts where the new topic is mentioned. In those older posts, add a hyperlink that directs readers to the new blog post that you just published. And if this sounds super tedious and overwhelming, don't worry, there's a plugin for that. Check out the plugin Link Whisper to help you automatically find internal linking opportunities and greatly speed up this process. If you're interested, I will put my affiliate link for Link Whisper below. And in case you're wondering why you should do this, what the benefits are, and how it's worth your time, well, there's tons of benefits. Number one, it helps you pass authority between posts. So when you link from a post that has a lot of backlinks and therefore a lot of authority to a new post that ipso facto has no backlinks yet because it's brand new, that helps transfer some of that earned link juice from the old post to the new post and gives that new post a better chance at ranking well more quickly. It also helps you create content clusters on your site. Internal linking between posts that relate to each other helps establish content clusters or sort of topic groups on your site. And this signals to Google that your site is an authority on related subjects, and you're not just out there one-off posting anything and everything on your mind. You're building a hub of information that's useful for people on the internet. Having internal links can also increase your page views and time on site. By naturally linking people to other related content that they might be interested in, it encourages people to stay on your site and explore more of your posts. This means more page views, longer session durations, and overall better engagement signals to Google. And this also, of course, has financial benefits if you run ads or promote affiliate links on your site. Having good internal links also improves the user experience. Visitors genuinely appreciate being directed to additional relevant information. If you are genuinely helping them every time they poke around on your site, they're more likely to engage with your content and return again. And finally, having internal links reduces bounce rate on your site. When someone bounces on your site, that means they've clicked onto a certain page from the Google search results and they check out what's on that page and then they leave. They go back, they exit your website, they don't go anywhere else. That's not necessarily a good engagement signal that you want to be sending. So whenever possible, we'd like to help people continue their journey deeper into our site. And by adding internal links into the content, you can help reduce that bounce rate, which sends a positive signal to search engines. And finally, internal links help Google crawl your site more effectively. Google's crawlers, or Google bots, follow links across the web to discover new and existing content. And when you link your new post to older content and vice versa, it helps Google efficiently crawl and index the content on your site. And this can help ensure that all of your content is getting crawled by Google, staying relevant, and getting indexed. So those first 3 tips are relatively manageable for most bloggers. You can share the content on social media just in the form of links or static images. You can email it out to your list, and you can go through and make sure that you're adding internal links on your website. If you don't have those 3 principles nailed down yet, get those mastered before you move on. But if you feel like you've got a good grasp of those things already, let's move on to some more advanced tips. Tip number 4 would be repurpose your content on other platforms. So this is where we start to move away from the goal of just driving traffic back to your website. When you start to repurpose your content into additional formats beyond the written word, your goal starts to shift from just traffic to building brand awareness, trust, and becoming a genuine authority in your space. So it is super valuable and important. However, it's not something I would necessarily recommend doing until you get some baseline traction with traffic on your website through Google, basic social media sharing, and starting an email list. Again, only once you have those things mastered do I recommend getting into the world of repurposing. However, if you feel ready, there are a lot of ways you can repurpose your blog content for greater reach and impact. One of my favorite ways to repurpose blog content, as you can probably tell, if you're watching this video, is YouTube. So here's how I recommend taking your blog content and repurposing it onto YouTube. If the blog post you created is informational in nature, you simply record yourself discussing the key points. You can create a full video by essentially sort of reading the post in an engaging way, like I'm doing here. If that's not the type of content you create, if you do more how-to stuff like crafting or recipes or something like that, then you can film yourself doing that task and use that as your YouTube video. Once the video is complete and edited, you can then post it on your YouTube channel, which has a two-pronged benefit. Number one, YouTube is a discovery engine, so they will suggest content to YouTube users via their algorithm that they think that user would like. But there's a second benefit that not all platforms have, and that is YouTube as a search engine. A lot of people actually go to YouTube directly and type in a search for something they're looking for information for. These are people who like to get their information in the format of video. And if the only way you provide information is in the written word on your blog, you're missing out on reaching a large portion of the world. So I do highly recommend, once you're at this more advanced level, starting to repurpose that blog content into video for YouTube. And then once you have that video finished and posted on YouTube, you can take it and embed it at the top of your blog post. Personally, I put mine underneath the introduction, so that people can read the introduction to figure out generally what the post is about. And then if they prefer to watch the video, it's right there for them to consume. And if not, they scroll on past and see the rest of the blog content. This can help improve accessibility of your content. It can increase the time that people spend on your pages if they're watching the video with your blog post open, which looks good for Google. And it adds a very personal touch that automatically sets you apart from AI. At this moment in time, AI isn't out there creating face to the camera videos of people's blog posts. I'm sure it's coming, that technology, but at this moment, if you are embedding a YouTube video of yourself speaking to the camera, that really does help set you apart from all the other AI content that Google is struggling with at the moment. Then the nice thing about video is that you can split off from there and be present on even more platforms. So once you have a video, it's easy to strip out the audio, tack on an intro, outro, and publish that as a podcast episode for people who enjoy listening on the go. Then you can use other tools like Opus Clip or Munch to easily pull out short form clips from that long form video to post on social media. And then beyond that, you can begin to layer on content that aligns with platform specific trends. And you can create new short form videos that still cover the same core topics that you already researched and wrote about and organized in a very friendly, easy to understand way in that blog post and in that video. What I'm talking about here is things like posting on YouTube Shorts, TikTok, Instagram, even Facebook likes video at the moment. And finally, you can share about the topics that you covered in your blog post on Instagram Stories. Break down the content of your blog post into bite-sized pieces of information, use polls, quizzes, questions, share personal insights to keep that content engaging and digestible for your audience while building connection. So again, repurposing content in this way is an advanced strategy, and it's really ideal for people who already have their core blogging systems in place. But with some strategy and intention, you can build an entire content ecosystem around your evergreen content without creating entirely new material for each platform. And if you're interested in learning this type of strategy, I share my full blog to video to podcast or video to podcast to blog repurposing system that I have personally used to double my organic traffic to my website inside my Search Savvy membership. Honestly, just take my systems, run with them. You don't need to recreate the wheel. I've got it all for you inside my Search Savvy membership. I'll drop the link below. Action step number 5, Syndicate across more platforms. So, in addition to repurposing your blog content into new formats, you can also simply syndicate your post. This means publishing your blog post on other platforms to reach more people using canonical links to make sure that Google knows that your blog is the original source. And there's sort of two main platforms where syndication can work well for bloggers. The first one is Medium, and the second one is LinkedIn. So, let me dive into a little more details on each. So, Medium, if you're not familiar, is sort of like an alternative blogging platform for people who just want to write. They don't want to manage a website. They just want a place to put their words, basically. But Medium does promote and share content, so it can potentially help you reach more people who may not have found your blog content otherwise. So, the important thing is that you always want to publish the content on your own blog or website first so that it's established as the original source. Then once it's published and indexed with Google, then it's relatively safe to import it over to Medium and publish it again on their platform. Medium will automatically add a canonical link to the content if you use their importing tool to reduce the chances of the post on Medium outranking the post on your website. And while you can stop there, in my personal opinion, I think it's worth making a few tweaks to give your post the best chance of performing well on Medium. So a few things you might want to try is perhaps rewriting the title for Medium. I know SEO titles tend to be pretty straightforward, direct. Sometimes they include target keywords. You generally want to make it really clear that that piece of content contains what someone's searching for, right? Medium doesn't really function in that way. It's not so much a place that people go to search for content. It's more like content is presented in front of them and they have to decide whether they want to read it. So you want your title to have a strong hook. If you have any practice creating email subject lines, for example, it follows a lot of those same principles. So you want to rewrite the title to have some sort of strong hook and perhaps tweak the tone and format of the actual content of your post to be a little more personable if needed. That's the type of content that tends to do better on Medium. Another place that you can syndicate your content is LinkedIn. LinkedIn has something called LinkedIn articles, and this is where you can actually publish long form content directly on their platform. But there is a small caveat. They do not use canonical links. So it is best practice to make a few tweaks to ensure that your LinkedIn article doesn't start outranking the blog post on your own website. So again, number one, you probably want to change the title, the meta description, the featured image of the post to make them different and probably more curiosity evoking than the SEO optimized blog post on your own site. And then within the actual body of the LinkedIn article, which again is just kind of like a copy paste of what you already published on your website, make sure you include a link to your blog post, to the post on your website, citing it as the original source. So that can help as well cut down on the risk that Google would see LinkedIn as the original source over you. And then there's another option on LinkedIn that's a little newer. It's called LinkedIn newsletters. And this is something that opens up as an option if you have at least 150 followers on your LinkedIn business page. And this allows you to create a quote unquote newsletter directly on LinkedIn that people can subscribe to on LinkedIn. And then anytime you publish one of these LinkedIn articles around a specific topic, these will get sent directly to all of the people who've subscribed to your newsletter on LinkedIn. And it doesn't just get shown in their feed, it gets sent to their actual email inbox. Whatever email they use on LinkedIn, it gets emailed to them. So while it's not fully in your control in the same way that hosting your own email newsletter through something like ConvertKit is, if you change the way you think about it and you think about it as just another channel and platform and avenue to reach your ideal people, it's just slightly more work to kind of republish in a different way, you could end up growing an audience directly with a LinkedIn newsletter as well. So long story short, by properly syndicating your content onto other platforms, you are able to increase the reach of your content. And you may get a small amount of referral traffic back to your website as well if people are checking out your site as the original source. Just again, make sure that your blog post on your website has already been indexed by Google before you start syndicating it elsewhere. Action task number 6, respond to media queries. One of the best ways to earn high quality backlinks and mentions is by responding to journalist queries. Connectively, which was formerly called Haro, is a platform that connects reporters with experts who can provide quotes or insights for their stories. And that gives you a chance to land valuable mentions in major publications. So here's how it works. You just go to the Connectively website and register as a subject matter expert directly on their platform. Then you can log in and browse the platform for queries from journalists who are looking for expert contributions on whatever topic you are an expert in. New queries are posted all throughout the day. And if that sounds super tedious and hard to keep up with, if you upgrade to their paid plan, you can start receiving alerts for whatever topics you want to receive alerts for, so you have a better chance of seeing them and responding quickly. And if you do find a query relevant to your expertise, it does benefit you to respond quickly with your helpful information. There's a lot of people on there trying to get quoted in the media, so the faster and more helpful your reply is, the better your shots are. And when you reply, you just want to be direct, give them the answer for their question right out of the gate, include your full name and credentials, as well as a link to the website that you would like to be mentioned or linked to. To get the best response rate for these types of platforms, you need to put yourself in the shoes of a journalist. Journalists are busy, so you want to give them the information that they're looking for in easily skimmable soundbite responses that they can quickly insert into the content that they're writing. And if you want to improve the trustworthiness of what you're sharing, you can include links to relevant research or personal experiences to back up your response if needed. And personally, for me, I like to save time on this type of work by only replying to queries around topics that I've already written about or researched. That way, I can give a well-informed response without spending hours on it without a guarantee of a link or a mention. Plus, if you've already created content on the topic, it's really easy to share links to other content you've created on that topic with the journalist in your response, which can show that you do have clear credibility on the topic and you know what you're talking about and are a reputable source. But the key here is to not expect a reply from any of the journalists on these types of platforms. Most of the time, they're not going to email you back and let you know that they used your quote or your piece of content, even if they do include you in their articles. So it's worth keeping track of your backlinks and doing Google searches for your name or your brand name on a periodic basis to catch any mentions that you may have received. In addition to Connectively, there's other popular platforms, including Quoted, Help a B2B Writer, Featured, Sources of Sources, which is a new one created by the guy who originally founded Haro. Or you can do something as simple as following the hashtag journo request on X, where journalists will post their requests for whatever stories they're writing about. Now, while these bigger platforms are very popular and have a ton of journalist requests published on them, they can be really competitive, and more recently, they've been sort of spammed with AI, which is not great. So one of my personal ways to get around that is to leverage niche Facebook groups for even more opportunities. These places tend to be less competitive and give you a leg up on building backlinks and authority online. So the first step, obviously, is to find and join groups where media professionals in your niche are active. I can't speak for all niches here, but I would guess that these types of groups exist for most niches. I'm a dietitian, so I know about groups like Master the Media for dietitians and health professionals, RDs Who Write, Dietitians on the Blog, or of course my own group, the Unconventional RD Community, if you want to talk about business, entrepreneurship, or marketing. Those are all good places to start. And once you're in the groups, you'll see that members often post requests for expert contributions or quotes, or they request content to include in roundup posts or articles. So you want to jump on these relevant opportunities as quickly as possible by providing helpful, well thought out responses or submitting links to your high quality content to be included in roundups. And again, the benefits here of contributing to these types of requests. First and foremost, this is a major way to start getting backlinks to your website and improving the authority of your site in the eyes of search engines like Google. When your quote or contribution is published, that journalist will very often link back to your homepage or a piece of content on your site, or if they don't link back, they may at least mention your name or your brand, which can improve your SEO. You may also get a small trickle of referral traffic if you get linked to within reputable publications or blogs, when the readers click through to learn more. But above all, it's really about authority building, becoming recognized as an expert in your field by getting media mentions across the internet. This increases your credibility and enhances your reputation within your niche. If you want all of my tips for getting high quality backlinks and mentions online, I would love to invite you to join my Search Savvy membership. I have a whole lesson on this topic inside my SEO course, which is included for all Search Savvy members. Action tip number 7. Answer questions on Quora, Reddit, or other forums. So this is another way that you can drive a small amount of traffic and build your authority in your niche. Platforms like Quora, Reddit, or niche-specific Facebook groups allow you to share your expertise in a helpful, non-spammy way, and sometimes even give you the opportunity to share links to your content as well. So if you're not familiar with these platforms, let me give you a brief rundown. Quora is a website where you can search for questions related to whatever topic you just posted a blog post on by looking up those relevant keywords. If you find a question within Quora on that topic that has not been well answered, or where you think you can provide a more in-depth response, write a detailed answer to that person's question, and then link back to your blog post for further reading. Reddit is a forum-based platform that has tons of active communities, which they call subreddits, around almost any topic you can imagine. Subreddits often have users asking questions that align with your expertise. So you can help boost your authority in your space by responding thoughtfully and providing valuable information for these users. But Reddit tends to be very anti-self-promotional. So be cautious about the subreddit rules around self-promotion to avoid appearing spammy or avoid getting banned. I would consider using a branded username and include your social links and things like that in your Reddit bio so that as you establish yourself as a helpful replier, interested people can click over to your profile, learn more, and follow you elsewhere if they like what you post on Reddit. Facebook groups also kind of function in the same way. There are many industry-specific or niche-focused Facebook groups that you can join and answer questions and provide helpful resources to the members. You want to search for groups that align with your areas of expertise, join them, and just keep an eye out for questions and discussions that relate to whatever you recently posted or other topics that you're just naturally an expert in. Reply with thoughtful, helpful responses, and if the group allows it, consider including a link to your post for readers who want to learn more. And again, the benefits of engaging in forums: number 1, increased visibility. It may not bring a flood of traffic back to your website, but answering questions on these platforms still exposes your name and expertise to new audiences. It builds a lot of trust, which is highly valuable as an online educator and business owner. It also expands the opportunity for you to get backlinks and traffic. If people find your response helpful, and if that response included a link, they may be more likely to click through to your website to read more. They may bookmark that as a resource to share with their network, et cetera, et cetera. And while it may not become a primary traffic source, it does still contribute to building your brand and driving a small amount of referral traffic over time. But the biggest thing is helping to establish your authority. Consistently answering questions in your niche positions you as an expert. And over time, you can build a reputation inside communities where your ideal audience is active, which can lead to long-term relationships and trust, which, if you eventually have something to offer and sell to your audience, people who already know you, like you, and trust you are the ones who are most likely to purchase from you. Again, the key here is to engage in conversations around topics that you already know well and have lots of firsthand experience in. Your contributions should feel easy, conversational, genuine, not robotic, forced, or self-promotional. Action tip number 8, engage in conversations on X and Threads. So similar to forums, X and Threads are great platforms for connecting with people, asking questions related to your blog post topic. Both of these platforms offer a fast-paced environment for real-time engagement, relationship building, and showcasing your expertise. So what you can do is search for relevant conversations using X or Threads search functions to find people discussing topics about whatever you just wrote about. And then just engage authentically. Respond to these tweets or threads with useful insights, commentary, or advice. The goal here isn't really to share links, but to provide real value and start building connections. By consistently engaging with people on X and Threads, again, you build your network of respected peers, increase your following, drive more traffic to your website, and position yourself as an expert in your field. While engaging online, in forums and discussion platforms in this way isn't always directly related to promoting a specific blog post, making it a habit to engage with others in your niche every time you do press the publish button is a great way to build it into your routine and make sure it's not falling off your to-do list. If you're like, hey, every time I post something, I need to spend 30 minutes engaging, at least you're going to be engaging on a consistent basis and start to build that traction on these platforms. Action item number 9, share related content from your peers. And why should you share other people's content? Well, if you share your colleagues' content, they are likely to remember and return the favor by promoting your work in the future. This could also lead to collaborations and invitations to do things like podcasts, summits, or other opportunities. So sharing other people's content is about strengthening relationships with other people in your niche that you know, like, and respect. It also benefits your audience. By sharing your peers' expertise alongside your own, you're providing even more value to your audience. And this also demonstrates that you're well connected and generous in sharing helpful resources. And finally, it positions you as a connector. Sharing high quality content from well-known experts in your niche reflects positively on you. It positions you as someone who is knowledgeable, supportive, and well-connected, which helps raise your own profile. So how do you go about sharing content from other people in your space? Well, one great way is to look for complementary content that other people have created that your audience would find useful. So for example, maybe you just published a blog post on diet and PCOS. Perhaps you have a colleague who just came out with a cookbook for people with PCOS. Share that cookbook with the people in your audience. Link to it inside your blog post as a helpful resource. This enhances your blog post and provides extra value to your readers. You can also share your peer content on your social platforms, tagging the person whose content you shared so they're aware that you're sharing their stuff, and add your own thoughtful commentary on why this content is worth checking out. The goal here is to really collaborate with intention. When you consistently promote your peers without thinking about what you're getting back, they're going to start noticing, and naturally, some of them may reciprocate. This can lead to stronger relationships, more visibility, and future collaborations down the line. And my final tip, action step number 10, is to repurpose your blog post as a lead magnet. If you tend to publish blog posts that are highly detailed and in-depth, or something where people might want to come back to it again and again, like a recipe or a how-to tutorial, consider turning your post into a lead magnet to grow your email list. Now, I've actually been doing this for years, but back in the day, I had to do it 100% manually. I would create a separate opt-in form for every single post to get people to sign up and join my list to receive the post in their inbox. That was obviously very tedious and not very scalable. However, times have changed. And remember that plugin I mentioned way back at the beginning of this video, Hubbub? They have recently launched several paid tiers of their plugin. And one of the higher end tiers, Hubbub Pro Plus, includes something called the Save This feature. And this basically replicates this whole process for you automatically. So essentially, once it's installed, you are able to insert little Save This forms inside your blog posts that allows website visitors to enter their email address to receive a link to that blog post in their inbox automatically. And then as part of that process, website visitors are agreeing to be subscribed to your email list and receive ongoing communications from you. Let's say you have some popular chocolate chip cookie recipe that everyone's loving, and they want to make sure that they don't forget it. They see this call to action in the post that says, hey, send this to yourself. They enter their email, they get a link to that post automatically emailed to them, and they're automatically added to your email list so that you can keep in touch with them as time goes on. This is one of the easiest ways to begin growing an email list, and it's actually super effective. In fact, I grew my nutrition-themed email list to over 7,000 people using this method with only 14 blog posts. So yeah, if you have high-quality content and people want to keep it, this will work. Providing a way to save the content via email is giving extra value to the reader while helping you build your email list. So win-win, and definitely worth the fee for Hubbub Pro Plus to help you automate this. So let's recap. I know that was a lot. What are the 10 things that we just talked about that you should do after every blog post? Number 1, share on your social channels. You can start by just sharing links, but then when you feel ready, work on creating static visual assets as well. Number 2, email your list. Send a catchy teaser email if you want to drive traffic to your website, and consider creating an evergreen system that will automatically send your best content to your subscribers on an ongoing basis. Number 3, link to your new post from your older blog posts. Add those internal links from relevant posts to help boost your rankings, increase page views, and improve the user experience on your site. Number 4, repurpose into additional formats. Turn your blog posts into content for YouTube, podcasts, and short form video platforms. Repurposing your work is going to help you reach a wider audience without doubling your effort. Number 5, syndicate your content for even greater reach. When done properly, republishing your content on additional platforms like Medium or LinkedIn can help you reach a wider audience as well. Number 6, respond to journalist requests with your expertise or content to potentially receive backlinks and brand mentions. Number 7, answer related questions on forums. Share your knowledge by answering questions on Quora, Reddit, or inside niche Facebook groups, including links to your content when appropriate to help drive traffic and build your authority. Number 8, engage in conversations on X and Threads. Look for people asking questions about your blog topic that you just wrote about and engage with them. Provide your helpful advice, build relationships while subtly showcasing your expertise. Number 9, share related content from your peers. Support your peers by sharing their valuable content. This not only helps your audience, but also builds goodwill within your network, potentially leading to future collaborations. And finally, number 10, grow your email list. If you have long, detailed, high-value blog posts, give readers the ability to email them to themselves and join your email list at the same time. I know this is a lot. Pick and choose what works for you in this moment in time in your business. But even if you just implement a few of these steps, you will begin to increase your page views, boost your social shares, build backlinks, improve brand awareness, and strengthen your relationships with your peers and your audience. Because really, blogging is not just about hitting publish. It's about maximizing the impact of your content after it goes live. I hope this was a helpful video for you. If you have any questions or want to continue the conversation, you can feel free to check out my free Facebook community, the Unconventional RD community on Facebook. There's over 16,000 amazing online entrepreneurs in there, many of them in the nutrition and wellness space, but it's a welcoming space for anyone interested in online marketing and creating a thriving evergreen ecosystem in their online business. So come check it out. And if you're ready for more advanced content, I'd love to welcome you with open arms into my Search Savvy membership, which gives you access to my signature course, SEO Made Simple, as well as all my additional trainings on content repurposing, email marketing, and monetization. It's a super affordable space for what you're getting. There's over 1,000 people inside the community. It's honestly my favorite place to be. I'm in there every single day. So come check it out. I'll put the link below this video. And thanks again for your time. Catch you again in my next video.